Panama was named one of the best destinations to visit in 2024. More specifically, it was deemed one of the best places for expats, not just to visit, but also to live, which I found very interesting. So in this video, I want to talk about just the basics of Panama. I want to talk about language and the roads and shopping and the restaurants and the food and stuff like that. Before we begin, hi, my name is Tashi. I'm a content creator here from Panama City. I like to make content about what it's like to live in Panama City. So if this is something that you'd be interested in, subscribe so you can check out all of the future videos I have in store for you. And don't forget to hit the notification bell so you can be notified every single time I upload. So the first thing I want to get out of the way is the language. Our first language is in fact Spanish. Usually when people travel here, the place that they tend to gravitate towards the most is the city area, which is Panama City. Majority of the businesses, restaurants, nightlife, coffee shops, everything, most of these places are going to have staff that are bilingual. They can maintain sort of like a conversation in English. So if you stay within that area, that main area, most of the places you go to, you're going to be able to get by. Google Translate does help out a lot. It helps you out with the pronunciation of words as well. If you haven't brushed up on your Spanish, basic English should get you fine, and Google Translate will help you out in the rest. Now, if you were to move further away from the city, say for example to the more suburban areas, you're not really going to find that much English, at least not business-wise. The more popular, more known businesses might, the smaller, more local ones might not. So it's touch and go. Let's talk about the weather. Okay, Panama's hot year-round. Year-round, it's humid. It's very humid. We're in a whole different other level of humidity. Like a solid 32, 34 can feel like a fantastic 40, 42. I would very much suggest having very, very light clothing if you're planning on coming. Cold does not exist here, at least not in the city. If you were to go more towards the interior of the country, like say for example Boquete and Chiriquí, you're gonna get cooler, rainier weather. But here in the city, it is hot year-round. We have two seasons. We have like our summer, and then we have a rainy season, which is like towards the end of the year, around September. But yeah, it is mainly very hot year-round. I don't know if this is necessary, but I'm going to splash it in here just in case. Our currency is Balboa, which is basically the same thing as a dollar, so basically just dollar. We do in fact obviously have exchange houses here in Panama. Most of them are, like I mentioned, here in the city. Credit cards, most of them Visa, MasterCard, cool with them. I will say that from experience, the Discovery card tends to be less accepted. Just putting that out there. I have in my list to talk about the airlines and the airports. It needs to be talked about, just mentioned at the very least. So obviously we have like local airports, and then we also have international airports. The more important ones obviously being the international ones is the Tucumán International Airport, and then we have another smaller one towards the other side of the city, which is the Panama Pacifico International Airport. They have like smaller charters to go to like local countries like nearby. Now for local flights, we have the Marcos Gelabert International Airport. From local airlines, we have Copa, which is very cool. It's one of our main airlines here. Copa, actually, most of them leave from Tocumen. We have Air Panama, which usually leaves from Marcos Gelabert Airport. And then there's also Wingo. And this is important because, say for example, you are interested in exploring Panama beyond the city. Airlines are going to be an option. So say for example, you wanted to go to Bocas. That would be around 12 hours if you go by bus, and anywhere between 8 to 10 hours if you, say for example, rent a car and you drive it. That's half a day traveling, right? But if you were to take a flight, most likely through Air Panama, it'll be expensive. It'll be around 130 something just to get there, but it'll get you there in 50 minutes flat. Planning wise, I think it's important to take into consideration not everyone wants to just stick into the city when they come here, so I think it's important for you to take that into consideration if you're planning on going beyond the cities. We also have toll roads, so highways. That's what we call corredores. We have two. We have one on the south side, Corredor Sur, and then on the other side, which is Corredor Norte. It's toll roads, so you have to pay to be able to get through. Usually they just put a sticker on the car and you just charge it through your phone or whatever, and you just go through it. Both toll roads start at the end of the city, which is Albrook. They each take one through the south, one through the north, but then at some point they all end up at the end of the suburb area, like close to where the airport is, for example. It's quite far away from the city. Let's go ahead and talk about transportation. We have the bus, which is called Metrobus, and then we also have an option for a train, which is just El Metro. And they're actually quite cheap. Like, to go from point A to point B in a bus, it's like a quarter. In the metro, which is a train, it's like 35 cents. It's, to my knowledge, one of the cheapest ones in Latin America. Get a card, charge it, and then you can do either or. And actually, the metro system is really cool because now you can actually pay directly with your Visa, which means you don't have to buy a card, but that does limit you. That means that you can only use the metro. You can't do the same thing with the metro bus. Now, when we talk about, for example, cars, we have Uber. We also have another app called InDriver. The prices are similar, so there's that. We also have taxis. They're all in the yellow color. And then, of course, you can always just rent the car. We have a bunch of services here where you can rent them. You can also get private drivers. We have a few services here in Panama that offer that. They literally go pick you up at the airport and they take you wherever, and they're there at your beck and call. Options are there. That's pretty cool. Now, let's talk about accommodations, how to find where to stay. You could very easily use Airbnb to find a very cute house or apartment or room to stay here in the city. Airbnb doesn't just work in the city, it works throughout the entire country. Like, it has options everywhere. If you want an alternative to Airbnb, there's also TripAdvisor. It does work here, as well as Booking.com. And of course, hotels. We have the main chains here. We have really cool hotels as well as in the rest of the country. Now, if you're looking to stay for a season here, a couple months, and you're looking for something a little longer, I would recommend Encuentra 24. Encuentra 24 is a great place if you're looking to rent an apartment, a house, a room, a shared room. You can find that very easily in Encuentra 24. Let's talk about the malls. We have a few very cute upscale malls like Multiplaza. It's right off of like Avenida Balboa and Calle 50. It's very big. It's got a lot of options. It's like smack in the middle of the city. Down Centered holds a very weird place in my heart. In the middle of one of the best urban developments, in my opinion, here in Panama City, which is Costa del Este. It's pet friendly. It's got a bunch of options. They do a lot of like social activities to keep the community engaged. There's Albrook. The thing about Albrook is right next to our main bus terminal. It is a very long design. It's not circular like, for example, Multiplaza. It's very long. It's a very visited mall, so it'll always be full. Further down that side, we've got Alta Plaza. I stick with Multiplaza. Quite frankly, it's closer to where I live and where I work. Now, let's talk about the food. I think that in the last couple of years, the restaurant scene here in Panama has grown significantly. People are really investing in their kitchens, in the gastronomic proposal that they have. I, for one, am proud of a lot of the restaurants and chefs that have been able to go out and represent us these past couple of years. If you're looking, for example, to try out some of these restaurants, the best way to get them would be through the app Degusta. You can make reservations through them and then you get some sort of discount. Sometimes you can see the menu, you can see like the schedule, you can see like the contact information. You get all of the information of restaurants and bars in the local areas. From there, you can also, of course, check TripAdvisor. It'll give you a good roundabout of the restaurants that you could consider to go check out. I also think Google Maps is a very good source of recommendations. You can literally type in restaurants, bars, cocktails, and it'll give you a bunch of options and where to get there, and it'll give you reviews as well. Say you're the crowd that you're going to stay here for a while, and you want to also have options for deliveries. Our most used delivery app is called Pedidos Ya. They also have like discounts and whatever. It's a very useful app. Uber Eats also works here. There are a lot of fast chain restaurants here that also have their own app and have their own delivery apps. Now we don't have as many options that are 24 hours. There's one chain restaurant that always comes to mind, which is Nico's. But then also there are a a few chain restaurants that open 24/7 from Thursday to Sunday, like McDonald's and Wendy's. Believe it or not, they also do delivery. And I'm talking like delivery within those 24 hours from Thursday to Friday. Like you can order it on Saturday at 2 a.m. and they will deliver it. It's the coolest thing. It's the coolest thing. Let's talk about the nightlife, the entertainment, the scene. I feel like after It That Shall Not Be Named happened, it kind of sort of extinguished our nightlife, and we haven't been able to sort of like go back to that golden age where it was just fantastic. Currently, if I were to recommend like nightlife place, first place that comes to mind is Casco Antiguo. That's one of my favorite places here in Panama City. It's one of the places that I hang out the most. They also have a couple of nightclubs that tend to really turn it up on the weekends. Also, there's quite a few in Avenida Balboa as well. You keep that regular area, right? We got Casco Antiguo, we've got next to it Avenida Balboa. To the other end, we also have the Causeway Amador that also has really cool areas like Paraya. There's also, for example, Cayo Uruguay in Bella Vista. There's a few nightclubs that have been opening recently that I think are very interesting and worth checking out. As to where to find these specific places, you can try Degusta, you can try TripAdvisor. Google Maps is really good for this. And again, if I had to like list out the top 3 places you have to check out, it would most definitely be number 1, Casco Antiguo. As soon as you reach here, you have to go to Casco Antiguo. Just give it an entire day and night. And then you have to check out Amador, Causeway Amador. It's made out of like 3-4 islands. It's beautiful, quite an experience. Then San Francisco also has like a lot of restaurants. It's more of a suburban area with a lot of restaurants. It's kind of chaotic. And of course, what kind of Panamanian would I be if I didn't recommend going to the Panama Canal? You have to go to the Panama Canal. I don't necessarily think that you need an entire day for it. I feel like 1/3 of a day, like a morning, just like go a morning there for like 2-3 hours. The movie that they have, which was voiced by Morgan Freeman, good story. It's very well produced. If you're lucky enough to have like one of the boats cross by when you're there, you can go ahead and say hi. It's actually pretty cool. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you found this video useful. I feel like I left out a lot in this video, and at the same time I feel like it's gonna be so long. In the description you can find a link to a document with all of this information written out with the links where you can get all of this. If you have any questions, you can go ahead and leave them out in the comment section, or if you have any ideas for something you'd like to watch in the future, that would be a great place to leave that. I'll see you in the next one. Bye. I'm gonna show you guys the view from my apartment because it's quite cute, and right now it's really awesome because you can see the boats that are in line to pass over the canal.